Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you all joined me here for this show. Today, I have a very crucial topic to discuss, primarily for men, but women can learn a lot from this too. I do cater my content to both men and women, but the reason why I speak about men more often is because I feel that men are struggling much more in tremendous ways, which is what I'm trying to say, in this crazy digital modern dating world we all live in, or in this world we live in, period, because men are struggling today in all aspects of life, not just personally, but professionally as well. And there are lots of reasons for that. I'm going to be discussing that here on this show. This is being done as a live stream, but if you're watching this on the replay, please stick around. It's going to have tremendous replay value for quite some time because I don't see this changing anytime soon. But let me just make sure that things are rolling smoothly very quickly here before we get right to it, and it looks like things are rolling well, which is what I'm trying to say. I've just been doing so much content lately. Oh my gosh, my mind is everywhere. Earlier today, I just shot 7 videos on a walk pre-recorded at 4K, 60 frames per second. That will be released next week. If you're watching live, this is being recorded on Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. But if you're watching this a year down the road, it's not going to make any sense to you. But yeah, one of my mods is here already, Sifu Smo, a.k.a. Dion, and because I ran a few minutes behind, which is pretty common for me because I've had so much going on, he's saying, "Where are you, LOL?" Yeah. See, Dion, I'm about ready to shove my 10.5 wide someplace you're not going to like, brother. I'm just kidding, bro. I think you know that. Maybe I'm not kidding, but I have a lot of love for you, and maybe you need a 10.5 shoved there to get your act together, right, brother? I say that with lots of love, right? Lots of love. Dion is 30 years old. He is a millennial, and while I feel that he's leaps and bounds ahead of most millennials, he still struggles with some things that all millennials and all young men struggle with nowadays. And while this show is not catered primarily to you, Dion, I'm sure you can learn a bunch from this. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Tonight on this show, we're going to be discussing learn to become a strong yet sensitive man. This is what women want. One more time. Learn to become a strong yet sensitive man. This is what women want. And if you're watching this show live or on the replay, you clicked on the thumbnail that says, "Guys, you need to control your emotions." Emotions in big red. One more time, guys, you need to control your emotions. I'm going to start off by saying this. I thought about going out on Reddit or on the internet and finding some supporting content to dissect regarding this topic. And then I said, screw it. I'm just going to go on the fly. I'm going to go raw and on the fly and just share my thoughts. Primarily because I feel it's going to relate to you a lot better. I can speak more from my personal experiences. I just want to state my opinions and my facts and not get distracted with anything else, because this is a very, very important topic that if I can really help as many men as possible understand this and turn this around, not only will it change all aspects of your life and will make you much more successful than you already are, this is also going to change the way women are behaving and reacting to men nowadays. Let me just start off by saying this. There are a lot of women out there that are saying, where have all the good men gone? Right? You hear that all the time, right? There aren't any good men left out there. Is that a true statement? Not completely, but there is a lot of truth to it at the same time. And I'll share my thoughts about that and say that, there are good men out there, decent men out there, but not a whole lot. And I say that respectfully. The majority of our young men nowadays, and let's talk about men 40 and under, because at age 40, that is the beginning of the millennial generation. So the millennials, the oldest millennial is 40 years old. I believe the youngest millennial is 25 or so, or 24. And then anything under 25 or 24, somewhere around there, is Gen Z. I can look that up very quickly here. Gen Z ages. I can even do that. Gen Z, 9 through 24. Millennials, 25 through 40. Okay, yeah, I got it right. Okay. And these two generations are now living in a time unlike any other time we've ever experienced. And they're struggling, especially the men. The men are struggling for many, many reasons. Okay. I thought about this myself because when I was younger, and I'm Gen X, okay, I'm 47, almost 48. I'll be 48 next month on December 17th of 2021. I experienced a lot of the similar things that the millennials and the Gen Zers, the I generation men are experiencing now. So this whole trend of men struggling in this modern world already started during my generation. And here's the thing. I've said before that a lot of men nowadays are struggling because they don't have the best upbringing. They are being raised in a broken household, or maybe they have both parents, but their father is a more feminized type of man, and their mother is a more masculine type of dominant type of woman. And that confuses, little kids, little boys growing up, right? And I've also said the reason why that's happening is because about 55 years ago, women, were liberated. Women fought for equal rights, and they got equal rights. And I am all for that. I'm all for women having equal rights and being able to do things nowadays that once only men were legally able to do, right? While that aspect is great, it has definitely impacted dating relationships and marriages in the modern world because women being liberated and doing things that they used to not do in many cases and in many jobs nowadays is forcing women to exude more masculine energy than feminine energy. For example, if you have a woman in an executive position for a corporation and she has to fire somebody beneath her, okay, she's going to have to exude masculine energy and, basically reprimand and terminate the employee, right? Or suspend the employee or whatever, right? And that right there is completely naturally and biologically outside of a woman's natural essence. Women actually, no matter how strong they are, which is it's great that they're strong, but no matter how strong women are, that makes them feel uncomfortable. Deep within, women really don't want to do that, but they know if they want to have the same opportunities as men only once had and excel in executive positions and make more money, they have to force themselves into that environment. Now, what does that do at the same time? At the same time, okay, let's say a woman becomes stronger, she gets a degree, she starts working for a corporation as an executive, and she's exuding masculine energy all day, every day to get her job done. What happens when she comes home to her boyfriend or her husband, who's a masculine man, and she continues to exude that masculine energy, to that man? Well, I'll tell you, I've been around women like that. And when women behave like that around me, it really annoys the living shit out of me. It really does. Because it is not the natural essence of a woman that attracts strong, confident men. Right? But why are women not able to go to work and exude masculine energy there when necessary to do their jobs, but then come home and turn it off? Well, the main reason is because the majority of men nowadays, especially the millennials and the I generation, Gen Y and Gen Z, that are not being raised to be strong yet sensitive men, they don't know how to handle this. They are intimidated by these women. And because these women have been empowered to be so strong nowadays in order to make it in the workforce, when these women approach men in a strong way, these men, instead of being able to stand up to these women and kind of get a laugh and just say, "Oh, baby, what's wrong? Why are you acting all tough, baby? Let's just hang out and have a beautiful night," right? Instead, they're becoming weaker. Men are becoming weaker to offset that. In essence, what's happening is that women are behaving more like men and men are behaving more like women, and the polarity is flipped. So that is pretty much what is happening in this crazy modern world. And additionally, because men are not being raised to be strong men, they're raised to be more feminine or feminized men. For example, this is what got to me. In my younger days, I was like this, even though I had a great upbringing. I had both my parents. I had a strong, masculine, father that worked hard. My mother was very feminine and nurturing and a great mother. And until I was 16 and my brother was 15, my mother was a homemaker. They used to call them housewives. Now the professional term is homemaker. My mother was a homemaker, and she raised my brother and I, took us to school every day, and took us to soccer practice and Little League baseball, and did all the PTA events and all that type of stuff. Right? I had all that. I had a great father figure and a great mother figure. I even had great grandparents that were, great figures in my life. I had a great upbringing. But despite having that great upbringing and being from the previous generation to the millennials, I'm Gen X, I still initially was behaving and went down the same path as many of these millennials and post-millennials are going through. And why is that? Why is that? I really want you guys and gals to understand this here tonight. Okay? A lot of this has to do with Hollywood and the mainstream media and how they present things, right? Hollywood presents things in ways that's going to put butts in seats and sell tickets and make money, right? Okay? So if you go back to the time I was growing up, the late 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. You got a lot of movies back then where, a man was, asked a woman out and she said no. And then throughout the movie, the guy would chase the woman, would send her flowers every day, would tell her how beautiful she is, would tell her, it's like, life without you is not the same, would say all those types of things, right? And then at the very end of the movie, the woman would just cave and give in and fall in love with the guy, and they would live happily ever after. And we saw that time and time again throughout the 70s, 80s, and maybe partially throughout the 90s, right? And so because I would see that, I got attached to that. I'm like, I want the same thing. I want to find a woman like that. I want to win a woman's heart over, right? And so initially when I was younger, that's the way I would behave. And I was able to get dates, but I wasn't able to keep women around long term because I realize now that I wasn't strong enough. I was coming off as, a weak man. I was coming off as too sappy. I was coming off as not strong enough, not masculine, right? That's what was happening. And it wasn't until later on in my life, in my late 20s, and more so my early 30s, where I started to realize that, this Hollywood stuff is a bunch of crap. Things don't happen that way. If you put a woman on a pedestal nowadays, and you buy her flowers all the time, and you overly compliment her and stuff like that, it completely repels her. Why? Women have a lot of options. Women have been liberated. They're independent. They're making their own money. They're buying their own homes. They have their own cars. They have all those types of things, right? So what do they need a man for? Back in the days of traditionalism, they needed a man to survive. Now they can survive without a man. So why would they want a man in their life nowadays? They'd want a man because he adds value to her life, right? And a man should feel the same way. A man should feel like a woman brings value into his life. Sifu Smo is back in the chat. He says, hey, coach. And furthermore, Sifu Smo Dion says, Hollywood lied to us. I don't think Hollywood lied to us. I think Hollywood did and still does whatever they can to put butts in seats and sell tickets and make money, bro. That's part of the problem nowadays with people that share information, whether it's mainstream media, whether it's Hollywood, or even if it's out here on YouTube and social media. Let me give you another example, Dion, and everyone else that's here, okay? What is the difference between what I talk about and other channels out here on YouTube that talk about similar things? What's the difference? Well, you have a group of creators that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. A group of males. Let's start over. There are a group of male creators out here on YouTube, for example, that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They're primarily men. And the reason why they have those subscribers is because these creators do talk about similar things as I do. The difference is they don't provide the solution or solutions to the problem. Okay? All they do is talk a bunch of smack about, women and how marriage is bad and, how dating is bad. And they talk about, like I said, similar things as I do, but they do not provide the solution. They don't talk about the solution with their audience. Why? Because if they help their audience solve the problem, then they would lose their audience. A lot of people, even out here on YouTube and social media, and even the mainstream media, they do things in ways to keep the audience engaged. They want to keep the drama going. They want to keep the fight happening between men and women because that creates a strong trigger of emotions to further upset men, which makes men want to go out and find other people that are similar, such as these creators that are creating this content. Hey, Clifford Starks, how you doing, brother? He says, hey, Eli, what's going on, man? It's great to see you here, bro. Sifu Smo Dion's a great guy to connect with, Clifford. If you both want to connect, Clifford Starks, Dion, is a wonderful gentleman I met stemming back to my former channel almost 5 years ago. I've known him for at least 4 years or so. He's a good dude. I try to check out his content whenever I can. He's got a bunch of different ventures going on, but he'll occasionally, do some lives and videos on his channel. He's a really, really good guy. So welcome. So, like I said, when I was younger, I fell victim to this, despite the fact that I'm not trying to show off or say I'm all that, but I went through the same thing. I fell victim to the Hollywood story. And I think a lot of men nowadays are going through the same thing. They're falling victim to the Hollywood fairy tale ending, which really doesn't exist, right? Now, you can have a fairy tale ending, but the way to get that fairy tale ending is not the way the Hollywood story, says it is. It doesn't work that way. Clifford Stark says, "I'm good, brother. Hope life is treating you great." Yeah, I've got a new lady now. She's watching, and she just sent me a message saying, "Baby, you are so wise." Well, I appreciate that, ma'am. Thank you so much. And yeah, life is going great, Clifford. Hope it's going well for you. Clifford says, "Hello, Sifu Smo." Sifu Smo. Dion says, "What are you in the UFC, Clifford?" I am a martial artist as well. Clifford starts as very nice. Yes, I used to fight in the UFC. Clifford, I had no idea you used to fight in the UFC. Oh wow, that's awesome, man. You and Dion definitely need to connect. What a great connection happening here tonight. That's awesome. That's fantastic. So again, I had to figure out how to snap out of this, because I used to be a really nice guy, and technically I still am, but I consider myself a good guy nowadays because the nice guy stigma, nice guys finish last, right? My lady would say, "Oh wow, you are a nice guy," and that's what I like about you. Well, I'm a good guy. Yes, I am nice to people, and I treat people with respect, and I treat people the way I want to be treated. But if somebody doesn't treat me right, I don't focus any energy on them. I used to go toe-to-toe with people like that, but at this point I've learned to become a strong yet sensitive man, like the topic says, and, I am able to handle my emotions respectfully, professionally, and maturely. And like the thumbnail says, guys, you need to control your emotions. I've learned how to control my emotions, because that is the manly and masculine thing to do. Masculine energy is strength. And it's not just physical strength, it's emotional strength. And, a lot of our youth nowadays, even some guys my age, Gen Xers, or even some baby boomers, are struggling with this. They don't have a grip on their emotions. They let their emotions get the best of them, right? And look, like I said, guys, besides being physically strong, we were made to be emotionally strong. And why is that? Why does it upset women when guys are emotionally weak, needy, desperate, insecure, too compliant, right? Why does that upset women? Why? Because that's how women behave. No disrespect to women, that's how women were naturally and biologically made to be, right? I've always said this, I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it until I'm black and blue and until everybody gets it, right? Women are emotional beings that respond emotionally first to everything based on how they're feeling at the present moment, and then they may reason with logic later on. Guys are supposed to be logical and maybe shed a little emotion after that, right? But let's say you're dating a woman and your woman is having a bad day. That happens, right? And she's getting emotional, which is normal. That's how women get. When things aren't going right for a woman, they get very emotional. And when things are going great, they're still freaking emotional. They're just emotionally happy, right? With women, it's either sad tears or tears of joy. You guys got to understand that with women, it's either sad tears because something's not going their way, or when shit's going their way, it's tears of joy, right? And I'm not saying women, that doesn't make women weak. A lot of women will say, oh, I'm not an emotional being because that's weakness. No, it is not weak for a woman to be emotional because that's how you were biologically made to be by a higher power, I believe to be God, right? Okay? So when women are going through these things emotionally, they are dependent on the man to balance that side out. When a man is emotionally strong, which is how he's supposed to be naturally and biologically, okay, and a woman is having a very emotional moment or a traumatizing emotional moment, and she's with her guy, she's going to look up to her guy to balance out her emotions, right? Okay? And if you're a weak guy that's as emotional as your woman or more emotional than her, then how in the world are you going to be able to help balance out her emotions, right? She's going to be annoyed because she's coming to you for your strength and you're putting her in a worse position than she's already in. She's coming to you, in essence, women won't admit this is the truth. She's coming to you to fix the issue without having to say it. She just wants you to recognize it and go over there and give her a big hug and say, baby, it's okay. Let's talk about it. Let me know what's happening. I'm here for you. I'm your rock, right? That's all you need to do, right? Okay? On the flip side, women balance out men. How do they balance out men? Even myself, being a good guy, nice guy, however you want to say it. Like I said, I like saying good guy because a nice guy is finished last stigma is not a good thing, right? Even though I'm a good guy, right, I'm still a man, and I still have moments of rough masculinity, right? Every guy has that. Even us good, secure, emotionally stable men are going to have our rough around the edges type of moments, right? And that's what a woman balances out with her sweet, loving, caring, and nurturing love, right? That's what guys need from a woman. So when a woman's behaving like a man and a man is behaving like a man, that doesn't balance the man out, and it doesn't balance the woman out. You see the difference right there? I'm clearly stating where the issues are at and where the problem primarily stems from. It stems from the fact that we have very, very weak men in our society nowadays. And then women have risen up above and beyond with strength that is naturally and biologically, outside of their normal essence. Not criticizing it, it's all good, but that's what's happening. Let's see, in the chat, great to hear, my brother. Glad life is going well, says Clifford. Sifu Smo says, wow, nice small world, LOL. Clifford says, yes, indeed. Nice to virtually meet you, Sifu Smo. Clifford says, amen. Emotional control is a powerful thing to have. Absolutely, Clifford. We need to teach more men to, become the real men they should have always been. Right. Clifford furthermore says, have a blessed day, my brother. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Glad we got to catch up a bit. Absolutely, Clifford. I'll be in touch soon, man. Keep in touch, man. We're going to get things going one of these days. Thank you for stopping by, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and your friends, man. Amen, brother. So, how do we turn this around? How do we help these men that are emotionally weak and they're needy and they're desperate and they're insecure, right? How do we help these guys become a strong yet sensitive man? We need to continue talking about the things that are happening in the modern world. We need to continue to teach these young men to not let anything faze them that goes wrong in their life. Many things are going to go wrong in your life as you're growing up and even once you grow up, right? But it's how you handle them as a man that's going to allow you to move forward or hold you back, right? Because here's the thing. If you're trying to accomplish something and you fail, and because you fail, you let that derail you and you get all emotional and you start complaining and whining and you're wasting that energy complaining and whining. If you would have instead, channeled that energy into just saying, screw it. Okay, I didn't make it happen this time. I'm not a failure. I just haven't reached my goal yet. I'm going to keep moving forward. Okay? It didn't happen this time. So take that energy, and instead of whining and complaining and being negative about it, take that and reinvest it back into trying again and continue to try and try and try until you get there. Now, I do understand there's a point in time where if you try the same thing over and over again, 5, 10, 15, or 20 times, and it never happens, at some point you may want to consider cutting your losses and saying, hey, I gave it my best shot. I tried this for 10 years. It didn't work out. I'm going to cut my losses and focus on something else. Does that make you a failure? No. It doesn't make you a failure. It just says that, hey, that just wasn't meant to be for you, at least during this point in your life. Maybe you take a break and revisit it 5 years down the road and you try something else in the meantime. But becoming a strong man and sensitive man is a mindset, okay? And it's not that difficult to get there. It's not that difficult to become a strong yet sensitive man. You just have to want to do it. You have to, think in the back of your mind that I'm a man and I am, it is impossible to derail me. No matter how many people talk shit about me, no matter how many people surpass me, no matter how many people make more money than me, no matter how many people I perceive to be better looking than me, it doesn't matter. All that matters is how you feel about yourself, right? And I'm trying to also get men to understand that when women or other men approach you in negative ways, all they're doing is projecting their insecurities onto you. That's all they're doing. They're doing that because they perceive you to be better than them. And you're not even trying to be better than them or anyone. You're just trying to become the best version of yourself that you can be. Right? Sifu Smo, it is okay to show a little vulnerability, but not too much. Gary, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving, Eli. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Gary. Great to see you back here, man. Hope your day is going well and your travels are safe. Dion, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with emotionally bonding with your woman. You've been with her for 9 months now or something? If you don't have an emotional bond with your woman by this point, Dion, then there's nothing really there, man. Okay? And when you emotionally bond with a woman, you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Once you commit to a woman, you are vulnerable for as long as you're with her. And if you, as a man, aren't willing to take that risk, then you don't have any faith in yourself or the woman that you're in. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. If it was meant to be with someone, the vulnerability is worth it. But as a man, you got to be able to take that risk when you feel the right person is around. Because part of the things that, women complain about are men that are emotionally closed off and they don't allow themselves to be vulnerable. How in the world can you genuinely bond with a woman as a man if you are not vulnerable or allow yourself, to, you know, uh, become emotionally attached? It's going to happen. It happens, right? The reason why so many men, try to hold off on that and protect themselves from that is because they've been hurt before and they don't want to get hurt again. A lot of men feel that, if I prolong telling a woman that I love her, if I prolong committing to a woman, there's a less chance of getting hurt. That's the biggest crock of shit. The truth of the matter is this, is that, you can date a woman for a year and never tell her that you love her, but have great sex with her and enjoy her company, right? And, everything else is going great, but you haven't told her that you love her because, or you haven't fully committed because, you're getting hurt. And then let's say next thing you know, a year, into it, because of that, she breaks up with you. It's going to hurt you emotionally still. Men do get emotionally attached. And there's nothing wrong with getting emotionally attached to the right person. That's what you want. And that's what women want too. Sifu Smo Dion says, very true. Gary says, 50 degrees and nice here in Tampa, enjoying the nice cool weather. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Hang on a second here. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Yeah, it's about the same here. Let me see. Redwood City weather. Right now in Redwood City, it's 55 degrees. Yeah. And the rest of the week is going to be mid-60s to upper 60s. Not bad for this time of the year. End of November, almost December. You can't ask for any better weather. I'm still taking my walks almost every day. I'm recording videos or doing streams. Nothing to complain about, right? Nothing to complain about. Anyway. Give me a second here, folks. I think the best way for us to help our men, especially our younger men 40 and under, but even the ones that even are hurting more are the teenagers, the 18 and 19-year-old men and men in their 20s, right? I think the best way to help them out is to actually start giving them solutions to the problems, not just making them aware of the problems, like most other content creators sharing the same type of content, talk about, right? And that's the problem nowadays. A lot of these other content creators or people that talk about these things, they talk about the issues, but they don't help these guys work through these issues. That's where I come in as a coach to help them, right? We need to help these guys better understand self-worth and self-love. And these guys need to understand that just because you see a super hot 9 or 10 woman doesn't mean she's any better than you, right? A lot of these guys are so enamored by these super sexy women, right? And they just lose their shit, right? And women pick up on that, right? And then they either will pretend to like that guy because they know he's so enamored over her looks, and then they'll extract his resources and kick him to the curb, right? Or they won't give him the time of day because they perceive him as weak and needy, desperate, and insecure, right? Why do they perceive him that way? Because he's coming off like he's less valuable than her. He's pedestalizing her. He's putting her above himself, right? And there's no man or woman on the planet that should put anyone above themselves. I've said this before, folks, and I'll say it again. Okay? Self-love is so important. Okay? Before you can love anyone else or allow someone to love you, okay? You have to love yourself first. You have to have self-love. You have to have self-happiness. You have to be happy deep within, day in and day out, regardless of what happens. Because if you're not happy within yourself, then how can you expect anyone else to be, happy around you or with you? Just think about that. Who wants to be around unhappy people? So why wouldn't you want to be happy? So you can attract happy people in your life. And again, like I said before, like attracts like, okay? If you're a good, happy person, you're going to attract good, happy people in your life. But if you encounter negative people along the way, once these guys, who's messaging on Facebook right now? Oh, give me a second. Huh. Okay, I'm going to close out that screen there and check out the messages later so the little Facebook to-do doesn't distract me. Again, I was talking about self-love. And it all starts within yourself, and how you see yourself is how the rest of the world's going to see you. And again, I'll reinstate that guys, never ever put anyone, especially any woman that you may encounter in your life, above you. Now, you don't want to put her beneath you, but don't put her above you. See, I don't put anyone above me or beneath me. Let's see here. My phone's going off with lots of notifications. Luckily, I have them silenced and all that, so they don't distract me, but I see them popping up on this screen, and I want to be able to see them in case somebody asks me a question that I can answer in the middle of the live stream. But guys, honestly, because of the way that you're behaving, and not loving yourself and putting yourself beneath women nowadays, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're also hurting other guys because you're putting women in a tailspin they don't want to be in, right? You have all these women complaining all over social media. Where have all the real men gone? Where are they at, right? And there are real good men out there, right? But there aren't as many good men in a good position emotionally, mentally, and spiritually and physically out there. There aren't as many of us, right? And for us guys that really want to find a good woman, it's more difficult because by the time we encounter, these women, you other guys that are different and not ready have encountered them, and these women are already burnt out and tired. The way men are nowadays is burning out women because women are just talking to so many different men, just hoping to find one that's going to be a strong yet sensitive man. And it's not easy for them to find it. And by the time they find it, right, this was my problem before I found my current woman. I'd come across some decent women that were attractive, had their shit together, but they were emotionally all over the place. Why? Because they had gone on so many dates before me that went south with guys like these guys I'm talking about, that by the time they got to me, they were burnt out. They were, just not acting like they were that excited. And they actually liked me, but their level of excitement was less than it would have been had they not been burnt out by going through all of these other guys, like the type of guys I've been talking with on this show. We got to help our men become stronger men. We got to help you guys snap out of it. Okay? No one is saying to be overly sensitive. Okay? But you still need to be sensitive. A good man is going to be strong like myself. I'm a strong guy and I'm confident and I don't put up with any bullshit. But at the same time, if somebody is nice to me, whether it's a man or a woman, I'll give them the shirt off my back. And I'll be grateful and thankful for it, right? I am not afraid to pay a woman a compliment that deserves a compliment. What I will not do is just give any random woman a compliment just for living and breathing air and looking all sexy, right? That's what you guys are doing. You guys are complimenting women just for being alive, right? I will compliment a woman that and tell her she's beautiful as long as I know other aspects of her are beautiful besides her physical beauty, right? Because to me, I don't care how hot a woman is. I'd rather be with a woman that is less attractive on the physical attractive scale that has a 10 personality than be with a hot woman and a shit personality, right? And then you have those guys out there that, try to be macho men, right? Whenever they come around a woman, they intentionally act all tough and shit, right? They're like, hey, mamacita, what's going on, right? Right? That's all cocky and arrogant and stuff. Well, that's not even cocky. That's arrogant, right? You don't need to act all like Rico Suave and stuff. That's insecure. That's immature. It's just, you're not acting your age. All these betas putting women on a pedestal. Yep, she has to earn it. Right. That's the thing, Dion. You hit the nail on the head. Women need to earn your respect as a man as much as you need to earn their respect. Okay? Respect is a two-way street. You're right, Dion. She has to earn it. She absolutely has to earn it. And these guys nowadays are just giving in to women solely on the fact that they're just a hot 9 or a 10. And they show these beta guys a little attention, right? And these guys have no clue that these women really aren't attracted to them. But women know that their looks will get the betas because the betas have no clue. And they'll extract other things from these guys, right? If every single man became a strong yet sensitive man and understood what I'm talking about here tonight, women wouldn't have these options to take advantage of beta men because beta males wouldn't exist. I can't even blame women for taking advantage of beta males if guys are going to actually be beta males and not want to work to be a real strong and sensitive man, right? But again, like I was saying, I'm going to wrap this up here in a few minutes or so. We're at 48 minutes, about to turn to 49 minutes. Okay. Even if you're a strong man and you have your shit together and you have self-respect, right? Okay. That doesn't mean when you're with a woman or getting to know a woman, it doesn't mean that you can never be sensitive. To be quite honest with you, the best combination on turning a woman on and showing her that you're a well-balanced man is to, number one, you can show her that, yes, you're a dominant yet loving man, right? You're dominant, you don't put up with BS, but you're respectful, right? But once you show her that, hey, I'm a man that's not going to be fucked with, and I'm going to treat you well. So I'm going to treat you well as long as you respect me and treat me well too. Once you can set those boundaries with a new woman, then and only then start showing her a little more sensitivity. With the woman I'm with right now, okay, we initially, we met, and as I got to know her and started to realize that she's really into me, right? She tells me that every day, right? And she reaches out to me almost first every day. Maybe once in a great while I'll reach out to her first, but it doesn't even really matter at this point. But and I forgot where I was going with this, but the point I'm trying to make is that, oh yeah, I've opened up my sensitivity to her. I've shown her my heart and my soul. But it didn't happen right away. And I had to ensure that she understood my boundaries before I did that, right? And because she respected my boundaries and she respects me and she's consistent with the respect, at that point I'm like, wow, this is incredible, right? And at that point, I start to feel the emotions start to kick in because she's being good to me naturally, unforced, right? And that allows me to be a sensitive man. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. There's no better feeling in life than having a good life partner that you can bond with emotionally and relate to things with. That emotional bond, there's nothing like that. It even makes the sex a hell of a lot better. When there are emotions involved, right? Let me just give you an example here. And some of you guys may understand this. Like a lot of guys that I've talked to in the past, they would fear like getting women pregnant even if they were on birth control, right? Because some women lie about that, right? But here's the thing. Whether you're ready for a child or not, if you're with a woman that you, after a while, maybe 6 months, a year, you emotionally bond with her and you really love her and care for her and she cares for you too, and the emotional bond is so strong and the romance and intimacy sex is so good, you're not going to even worry about her getting pregnant or not. If it happens, it's like you're happy about it because you're really happy with her. The reason why a lot of guys, would fear pregnancy is because they're not sure if that's the right woman they want to be stuck with the rest of their life, right? But here's the thing. That's why I've never slept around. That's why I've always been a one woman man. Is that, I never feared if that happened to me that I'd be stuck with that person because I really cared about them at that time. The emotional bond is one of the most amazing feelings, folks, that you're ever going to have. Right? And it's all good as long as you're a strong and sensitive man at the same time. If you're just a sensitive man and you're emotional, but you're weak in all other aspects as a man, it's just not going to work. Women want a well-balanced man. Women want a well-balanced man. I understand it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But it can be done. It can be done. I turned my life around from being, hey, weak, immature, insecure man. I was never a bad guy. I was just behaving this way. I was just behaving this way when I was younger, right? That's why I can relate to so many people. And that's why I share my solutions here. I just don't talk about the issues here, folks. I share my solutions as well. So I want you all to have what you want. Anyway, folks, we are at 55 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up. Dion Cephas says, amen. Thank you for being here, Dion and Clifford Starks and anyone else watching behind the scenes. All right, folks, I'm going to get on out of here. We've got many more videos to render out now and create. We've got a lot more content coming to this channel tomorrow and for the rest of the week. We're gonna keep pounding it out until we help everyone accomplish whatever their heart desires. With that being said, thanks again, everyone, for being here. Have yourselves a great one. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye. We're out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.